This has been an incredible... Whatever Southampton did or didn't do, it's been an incredible
goals.
start.
5.29 overall. Frank Leboeuf with us. What's interesting, Frank, is we've seen this in Europe, haven't we? We've seen the manager being able to make those changes and then still being able to put in good performances. And that kind of continued here today.
Exactly. That was pretty amazing, the way they worked all together. And it was completely the opposite of what we've seen like maybe 6 months ago or at the beginning of the season, where they seem to know each other so well. They seem to know exactly where to put the ball. They play simple, they're very accurate, efficient, and they're fast. Every time they get the ball back, Madueke, Palmer, and Kunku today, even Joao Felix in the first half, they're exactly spot on. They know what they have to do. And as you mentioned during the highlights, they go at 4, 5, 6 players, forward. So it's very frightening for the opponents. That is what happened to Southampton. They tried to play from the back. They've been punished with the second goal. But it's overall a very good performance. I was very pleased, even if at the back sometimes it's a little bit fragile, but maybe because you take so much risk offensively that you're getting a little bit weak defensively. But otherwise, nothing much to say. They did the job. I just want a compensation for getting a penalty for pulling hair. What's going on with players like me, both people, they can't get a penalty for that. So it's so unfair. That's not how I see football.
Chelsea have got next? Spurs away on Sunday. There's going to be so many goals in that game.
Yeah, there's going to 0-0. I mean, if they go there and win, the confidence that it's going to give them, hanging on to the coattails of Liverpool and keeping themselves in there, is something that they've been nowhere near for quite some time, right? And it's just that confidence. And we talked about Arne Slot making some changes, but that's Newcastle away. He's taking a calculated risk doing that at St James's Park. Slightly less of a risk Southampton away, although it is a risk, but slightly less of a risk. And then obviously they shoot themselves in the foot probably 2 or 3 times, and so hand it to Chelsea in the end. But again, none of us predicted Chelsea would be in this position, and it's down to the players, but it's down to the manager.
Let's take a look, shall we, overall, after today's matches, how things look at the top of the table. Just a reminder, Liverpool are 7 points clear. They are 11 points with Arsenal, Chelsea in second, and Manchester City sitting in fourth. Stewart Robson back with us. Well, this is fun, isn't it, Robbo?
It certainly is, and I'm pleased to see Chelsea doing so well, because the manager did well at Leicester last year. He had a poor pre-season. Everyone was talking about them trying to play out from the back, and they couldn't do it, and they couldn't get the tactics right, and people keep running in behind them. But he's got hold of the team. He's picked a similar side most weeks. He changed it obviously today. But the players know their jobs. They play a certain style of football. They're playing with energy. They're playing with enthusiasm. And they now look like a side that are going to be really hard to beat. And they're going to be hard to contain. So pleased to see Chelsea there. Arsenal, I think, are going to have a great run and be right on the coattails of Liverpool. And Man City, I still think, despite today's result, there's still problems when they lose the ball. They still aren't good defensively. So I think they're still going to struggle to get close to Arsenal and Liverpool come the end of the season.
I think when we talk about these teams up there, the one thing that City have sort of struggled with, and we've really, really touched on it at the weekend and again tonight in victory, is their midfield. I think if you look at Chelsea's struggles, it's been plentiful. But one of the areas of their team, Liverpool's team and Arsenal's team, that's when they play well, operates really well as the midfield.
Right.
And Chelsea struggles over a year or two. Caicedo struggled a bit. Fernandes up and down. Lavia was injured after he came in for a long period, almost a season. All those players are A, fit, and B, looking like the players that Chelsea signed. So the engine room for these sides at the top is so important. Liverpool's at the weekend, Arsenal with Odegaard back, Chelsea with these boys, Caicedo, having a great season, Fernandes, Lavia. City are the side that have got the issues in that position. And we talk about the engine room, And those sides, the engine room is working really well at the moment. And that's not only protecting the back four, but it's allowing these forward players to go and flourish. The legs that Chelsea have got in the midfield, the ability to win the ball back and tackle, the same as Liverpool, is pretty scary. The job Caicedo does off the ball is amazing. He's like a leech. You can't get away from him. He gets these tackles in that you think, how's he done that? And so the top sides have got the legs, and the side that was at the top, Man City, are lacking that. And I think that's going to be their downfall now that Rodri's out and Kovacic has been struggling with injury.
How many horses are in this race, Frank?
I will have to add Brighton. They
Brighton
have
aren't
one
in a
game in
title
hand.
race, Frank.
Well, but in the title race,
yes.
I still put Arsenal and Liverpool. I think City is going to struggle.
Right.
I don't have Chelsea in a title race.
Oh,
I would be cautious
the two teams.
because. Yeah, only Arsenal and Liverpool for me. If Arsenal can react well, and if Liverpool start losing points like today, because they should have won that game, even if it's a fair result. At 3-2, they should have won. But otherwise, yeah, Chelsea, I want to be cautious because they're still young players, and the confidence that Craig was talking about, they can, unfortunately, easily lose it because of this inexperience. But I thought you were talking about the first four spots, so I thought it was a race. Brighton is there. If Brighton wins tomorrow, they're gonna be in front of Manchester City.
Right,
so you have to count on them and respect them a little bit, Mr.
I think it's unlikely, but I think if Chelsea can get to the other side of Christmas, into January when the FA Cup starts, and they've managed to string another, I don't know how many games between now and then, 4 or 5 league games at least, maybe more than that, maybe half a dozen. If they can string another 5 or 6 wins together, who knows?
I think so, not Brighton. Meanwhile, just a reminder what else happened today. Some significant result for Everton, thrashing Wolves by 4-0. Meanwhile, Aston Villa back to winning ways with a 3-1 victory over Brentford. Just take a look at what that means then at the bottom of the Premier League table. Southampton, of course, struggling. Wolves are in real trouble as well, along with Ipswich. Those three at the moment, goodness me, despite Crystal Palace's horrible start to the season, they're not in the relegation zone. Does not paint a pretty picture for those three that are.
I thought Gary O'Neill had Wolves last season very organised.
Well,
this year, though, it's been a disaster.
It has, yes. That's